Last night was a night, Jet fan, Giant fan, football fan, whatever you are, I don't think you'll ever forget it because the range of emotions was like a violent roller coaster. I hit so much traffic going home, Tiki, but when I finally sat down, and I admit this, and you can mock me, I don't even care, Aaron Rodgers running out with the American flag made me tear up. The national anthem made me tear up. Seeing MetLife Stadium like I'd never seen it before. I've never seen MetLife Stadium actually look like a home stadium and sound like a home stadium made me tear up. And as this game was starting, everything felt different. 4 plays in, when Aaron Rodgers initially went down and then got up and then went down again, I think like all of us, you're just sitting there comatose. You're just sitting there thinking, this isn't real. Like, this is just some kind of bad nightmare that we as Jet fans would have made up in thinking about what may happen to the Aaron Rodgers era. And for about an hour, between watching this frustrating first half, and it was frustrating, and between checking social media for some kind of glimmer of hope that it's not as bad as you think it is, I sat there watching a football game in like a depression, in like this feeling of hopelessness. And when they went down 13-3 after Matt Milano picked off Zach Wilson and the Jet fan gave a middle finger, which represented all of us, down 13-3, late first half with Aaron Rodgers and no Achilles, it may have been one of the more depressing times as a Jet fan that we've had, and we've had a lot of depressing times. And then, from the ashes of hell, this football team showed giant balls. And so from the ashes of depression and woe is me and feel bad for us, which is a genuine emotion I had and most of us had, and you could hear it in the stadium last night, when all of a sudden they're marching down the field on the opening drive of the second half and they kick a field goal. When Jordan Whitehead picks off another Josh Allen bomb. When Jordan Whitehead picks off a third Josh Allen bomb. When Garrett Wilson makes an Odell Beckham on catch steroids to tie this game up. When they take the lead. When the doink goes through. To the very end. When a guy who became a household name from Hard Knocks goes 65 yards into the end zone. I only speak for myself when I say the emotions of hell as a sports fan turned into like one of the great feelings I think I've had in a decade. So I admit this to you right now. I'm deeply confused as a Jet fan. Of course Aaron Rodgers going down is catastrophic. Of course it's our worst nightmare. Of course the chances of the Jets going to the Super Bowl have greatly diminished. Like, I'm not denying any of that. I don't all of a sudden believe in Zach Wilson. But what I did see last night was DJ Reed back up his words. And what I did see last night was a victory that was as satisfying as I've seen since going to New England in the postseason 13 years ago. So as we sit here today, Tiki, I'm happy, I'm depressed, I'm excited, and I'm scared. That may sound like contradictions, but that's honestly how I feel how many hours after last night's incredible, you won't forget Monday night at MetLife Stadium.
I wonder how soon, Evan, it takes you and all the Jet fans to get like I am. Because I was not emotionally invested in Aaron Rodgers.
I understand.
I think a lot of the emotion that you hear on sports radio, from the host on this station, from fans on social media, a lot of that is an emotional investment. I wasn't emotionally invested in Aaron Rodgers. I think he's hired a PR agency and he's reshaping his image and it's been fantastic. So I was interested in that regard, but I wasn't emotionally invested in Aaron Rodgers. So when I see him go down on this fourth play, there's 2 things I'm thinking. One, Dwayne Brown is cut blocking that edge rusher, just like Mekhi Becton did earlier in the game, because the ball's supposed to be out of his hands. It's a 3-step drop, less than that. The ball should be gone. So I'm blaming Aaron Rodgers because he gets hurt. But then immediately, when you know he's out, you can kind of tell. I thought it was a midfoot sprain or a plantar fascia or something like that because of the way his foot bent. My brother texted me. He's like, that's an Achilles. I was like, I don't know. We'll see. He ended up being right. The first thing that came to my mind was, this is Zach shows now. Somebody's got to step up and play. because that's just the mentality of a player. That's the mentality of everybody on that Jet sideline. It wasn't, woe is me, oh my God, we're dead, oh, I can't breathe, I'm going to cry. It wasn't.
But you know what, Tiki?
As a player, I was defaulting to my player.
Yeah, but you know what? The players almost played like that. Because let's think about the way that first half went. That first half went like a team that knew Aaron Rodgers was gone. The defense was not great, including not making some big stops. The offense was broken. They were down 13-3, and I could have sworn this game was curtains. So they didn't play like a team that all of a sudden just said, next man up.
Hold on. You gotta look at it for what it actually is, not the emotion of fandom. You can look at it and say, yeah, they didn't really do anything. Well, you know why? Because Nathaniel Hackett, who, by the way, I love Nate Hackett. You've heard me say this all offseason. He is the most important person. He's the most important person at One Jets Drive in Florham Park right now. He has to get Zach Wilson right. I called him earlier and I said, tell me about Zach. He's like, we got a short week. I'll talk to you later. He has to get Zach Wilson right. Now, what happened at the end of at the beginning of that game when Zach is playing? The Buffalo Bills said, all right, Zach, I dare you. That's why you saw a lot of screens, why you saw a lot of quick game, because they were playing man coverage the entire time. Zach, we don't believe you can make tight window throws. We don't think you can do it. And then the one time they played a zone, Zach nailed it. Hit that that dig route to Lazard. It's like, all right, maybe Zach is starting to feel himself a little bit. And as the game started to go on, remember, he hasn't really taken first-team reps.
No, I get it.
Especially not this week. As the game started to wear on, you started to see him feel a little bit more confident. And most importantly, this defense, you were right. They said that they were going to be a Bears 85
But you know when that started, though? That started in the second half.
Yeah.
Because in the first half of this game, when they gave up the Stephon Diggs touchdown, when they gave up 2 field goal drives, I was saying to myself, yeah, you know what? You got to be better.
Yes.
If you're going to win football games right now with Aaron Rodgers not out there, you have to be better. And in their credit, in the second half, they dominated.
Yes.
In the second half of this game, I don't ever want to say they're the 85 Bears, but DJ Reed brought it up. They resembled it a hell of a lot more in the second half than they did the first half, and it was almost like this team, just like our emotions, rose from the ashes.
I mean, that's what I hate the whole second half adjustment thing. You changed your game plan, and what that doesn't happen. Sometimes it just takes a shock, some time to wear off, and it wears off. You take a deep breath at halftime. You are not out of this game by any means at all.
Go down by 10 with Zach Wilson at quarterback. It feels like you did.
Yeah, but
it felt that way to me.
To me, it didn't, because
because you didn't have emotion involved. That's why.
Exactly. That's exactly my point.
No,
Evan.
I get
and
you.
if you looked at it dispassionately, you could say, man, the Bills probably should be running away with this game, but they're not. They still got a shot. So you calm down as a player at halftime. You realize what the Bills are trying to do to you. Oh, Josh is going to throw up some balls to us. Guess what? Let's play center of the field close, and he's going to throw us a couple. Guess he did.
Yes, he did.
He did.
Jordan Whitehead is his daddy.
Exactly right.
That's just the reality.
Exactly right. Now, those were gifts. Just for the record, Jordan Whitehead didn't do anything.
Hey, here's what I know.
Be exactly where he was supposed to be by the coverage design.
Listen, man.
And Josh Allen thinking that Stephon Diggs is going to go be a hero and steal a ball away from the center of the safety is just he played terrible.
Listen, here's what I know about Josh Allen.
Terrible.
And everybody could rip him a new derriere on national TV.
He played
Here's
terrible.
what I know. Against the New York Jets in his last 3 games, he's lost 2 of the 3 games. He's thrown 5 interceptions.
Yep.
He's been sacked 13 times, and the Jet defense has kicked his ass. That's the reality. Their defense carried them to victory yesterday. Breece Hall was unbelievable coming off a torn ACL. Garrett Wilson made one of the great catches you'll ever see. And this Jet team, and I don't know where this goes. Obviously, expectations have now changed because of this Rodgers injury. But the New York Jets showed guts last night because down 13-3 with the franchise gone and a deflated building and Jet fans giving the middle finger to God knows who. It didn't feel like there was a chance in hell this team would win that game. I know the Jets. The Jets don't win that game. Let me give you a little history lesson.
Well, hold on. So maybe before you get into the history, because everybody's bringing up history. Oh, the Vinny Testaverde thing in 99.
I'll tell you why it's not the same.
Blah, 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 blah. Yada, yada. Forget history, man. This is now.
Well, but here's why. Here's why you should forget history. Because Vinny Testaverde tore his Achilles in the second quarter of week 1, and we all remembered because we had high expectations. The New York Jets lost that day. Mm-hmm. See, that's the thing we should remember.
Barely,
they
though,
lost that day.
On the last-second field goal.
Yeah, and they lost that day because Bill Parcells, not to refight arguments, pulled Tom Tupa into the fourth quarter because God knows he needed Rick Meyer on the field. But they lost. Who cares why? And then they lost 6-7, and they were buried. And they made this gallant comeback, and they made things interesting, but they missed the playoffs. But again, I want to reiterate, they lost the Vinny game. Keyshawn Johnson had a hissy fit after the game. They lost the game. In 2023, when Aaron Rodgers tore his Achilles 4 plays into the game, let the history book show they did not lose that game. They came back from 10 down against the team that's supposedly a Super Bowl contender, and they kicked their ass in the second half. So what does that mean for the future? I don't know. Mm-hmm. But here's why, history time, why 1999 ain't the same. And I don't want to hear it. Because they won. My emotions today, most of our emotions, better be different today. They won. The New York Jets won a football game last night. There's only 17 of these. And they beat a team, and I don't give a rat's ass what ESPN or Fox says about Josh Allen and their national conversation about, well, he's not the same. He misses Brian Daboll. I don't care.
He does.
The Jets kick his ass every time they see him. That's reality, and that's all I care about. So what's different today? I
have a theory on that.
Is that they won?
Yeah.
The Jets won last night. Oh, I don't know if that means they're going to win 11, 12 games. I have some hope. I don't feel hopeless today the way I felt at 8:45 when Aaron Rodgers was sitting in that blue tent. I was hopeless. Put a microphone on me then. It was woe is me. We're dead. Why am I a Jet fan? I hate my dad for making me one. Every emotion we've ever said. But today, at 2:13, the Jets are tied for first place, and that freaking matters.
Yeah, of course it does, because the Jets were resilient when it mattered most. Their defense stepped up and played amazing. 2 years ago, people were calling for Jeff Ulbricht's head. He's actually a pretty damn good defender. I know we want to talk about Quentin Williams and the edge rushers and everything else, but Quentin Jefferson, he was wrecking havoc on this game. This defense took it to another level, and Josh Allen, this is my little conspiracy here, he thinks the Jets are his little sister. He thinks he can do whatever he wants. I'm serious. He thinks he can do whatever he wants to the New York Jets, because otherwise I can't explain why one of the very top quarterbacks in this league does stupid things when he plays the Jets. He
does stupid things.
Stupid things.
He does.
Those 2 throws that Jordan Whitehead just basically punt returned were the most ridiculous throws with the safety in the center of the field that I've ever seen in the NFL. And this is from Josh Allen, who was second in the MVP 3 years ago. So why does he do that? Because he has zero respect for the Jets.
Well,
I'm just telling you.
He better start respecting them, because they've beaten him 2 out of the last 3 times.
Trust me, he will respect the Jets going forward. And that's because Robert Saleh has proven that he can be a really good head and winning head coach in this league. This defense by Jeff Ulbrich is fantastic. Joe Douglas has drafted the perfect set of players with the right level of cockiness, but also performance in order to be a sustainer for this team through the Zach Wilson thing. But most importantly, and I said it briefly and I'm going to say it again, Nathaniel Hackett has the most important job, because the trust in Zach Wilson is all that matters going forward. It's the only thing that matters. Do you believe that interception, where I just honestly believe he didn't see Matt Milano? I think he was behind AVT or Laken Tomlinson, so he couldn't see him. He thought that his wide receiver, I think it was Randall Cobb, cleared the front side linebacker, and he was just running into a hole. I think he just didn't see him.
I appreciate you explaining why he threw it, but that cannot happen.
Okay, but it happened.
Can't happen.
But it happened.
But it can happen.
But it didn't happen again is the most important thing.
Well, because they didn't let him throw the ball all that often. They relied on the run, which I'm not against, because here's what the Jets have morphed into. They have morphed into the 2009-2000 Jets on steroids. Because this defense, no offense, Darrell, no offense, Bart, this defense is better. This defense is better.
I know what you're saying.
I'm not sure if the quarterback's better.
Evan,
I don't know about that.
I know what you're saying, that it's just a run game. That simplifies it. That's not actually what happened, right? They ran the ball.
That's not how they got most of their yardage last night?
Of course it is how they got most of their yardage. They have a great running back. You're going to hand the ball off. They threw the ball 21 times, 22 times last night. They ran it 28. They just didn't run a lot of plays. So, yeah, Zach didn't
But
throw
on
the
that
ball a lot.
game-winning field goal drive, how many times did they ask Zach Wilson to throw the football?
But on the touchdown drive, the Josh Wilson or Zach Wilson throwing the football was exactly what got them first downs.
2 big third down conversions. Absolutely.
Got them in tight red zone, and he made the right decision on an RPO. That was a run to the right side. He didn't have the numbers on that play, so he threw the fade to Garrett Wilson, and Garrett Wilson made an unbelievable throw, unbelievable catch. The throw was terrible, but it was an unbelievable catch by Garrett Wilson. So much of that drive was Zach Wilson being the leader that this team needs him to be. And if he can get more of that, then maybe have a little faith. I'm not saying he's going to be a world beater. I'm not saying he's making the Pro Bowl or he's going to be an all-pro.
Zach Wilson.
But teams with lesser quarterbacks have won championships.
Zach Wilson has to earn the faith of Jet fans, but who earned our faith?
Forget the fans.
Well, but
he's got to earn the faith of his teammates.
Well, sure, absolutely, because last year they loved it, the backup every single time.
Yeah, because he was too cocky.
No, I get it, and he seems like a different guy. He does. Look, last night, and I don't want to ignore some of the great wins last year because they existed. They did. The comeback against Cleveland happened. The Mike White game, Halloween, exists 2 years ago. Like, those wins were amazing, and I remember coming in here fired up. But this win last night, especially when you throw in Xavier Gibson, of all people, a hero from Hard Knocks, a punt return for a touchdown, an electric MetLife Stadium, week 1 on a night that gave us so many different emotions, from the highest of highs to the lowest of lows to exhilaration. But for my money, I go all the way back to Foxborough in 2010 when they won the can't wait game against the Patriots. There has not been, and by the way, to anyone who's not a Jet fan to mock that and say, really, that's your best win in 13 years? Yeah, look it up. This team has sucked for over a decade. Like, I'm not saying that as some kind of, this is my Super Bowl. I'm saying it because we haven't had a lot of this. There have been some the last few years. That's why I acknowledge the Mike White game, the Cleveland game. Like, there have been some really good wins. But week 1 against a division rival, considering the ups and downs of last night, considering the domination that defense gave you in the second half, to the shocking conclusion of a punt return for a touchdown, that was as exhilarating a Jet win as we've seen since Foxborough. I can't name one that matches it. There are some that were good, but none that match it. And that's why I admit this. I'm confused. I don't want to downplay
Why are
the
you
shock,
confused?
because the Aaron Rodgers thing depresses me.
No. Here's why you're confused. And this is why Jet fans are confused. Because you wanted it to be easy. You wanted to come into this season and say, well, we got our quarterback and we got a great defense. We're in the AFC Championship game, or we're in the postseason and we're fighting. It's easy for us. We wanted it to be easy. Well, guess what? It's not easy. It never is easy.
It wasn't going to be easy with Aaron,
it
though.
was.
No, it wasn't.
In your mind, it was easy. I'm not talking. I know you.
No, in my mind, Tiki, it gave the Jets a legitimate shot.
No.
That's how I view it.
Most Jet fans thought that this season was going to be easy. We're going to win these games that we're supposed to win. Cowboys, they don't got a chance against us. Patriots, we're crushing them. I know they beat us, whatever it is, 12, 14 in a row. But we're beating the Kansas City, lost to the Detroit Lions. Oh, hell, we got them. Denver Broncos, they can't even win against, I forgot who they played last week, but whatever. They're not even good anymore with Russell Wilson. Giants, they got beat 40-0. And this is easy. Our path to the championship
easy
is set.
was never a word
I'm telling
in my dictionary.
Maybe not yours, but a lot of Jet fans thought this thing was going to be easy.
But Tiki,
so you're confused because now it's hard.
No. What I'm confused about is there was something awesome last night. Something I just described as one of the best wins I've seen in a decade and a half. So something amazing happened last night. And then I also got kicked in the balls. All of us did. In a stunning way. In a way that none of us would have predicted, even though we're Jet fans and we usually fear the worst.
I think a lot of Jet fans.
We predicted him 4 plays into his career and ending.
But a lot of people thought that, he's going to get hurt. Not 4 plays.
Well, but that's part of it. Like, he didn't get hurt week 7. This wasn't Brett Favre limping to the finish line. This was 4 plays into his Jet career, minutes after he ran on the field on the anniversary of 9/11 with an American flag. And I wasn't the only Jet fan who actually, you can mock me, who teared up. Like, no, I didn't expect that 5 minutes later he was going to go down with a torn Achilles. So I got a haircut today. How do you think I look, by the way?
I said it was good already.
Thank you. Fantastic. As soon as I walked into that barbershop, The number one thing was, guy didn't listen to the show, know who I was. You see the game last night. Mm-hmm. And I said, you're damn right I lived it. And the emotion in our conversation was...
I think you're playing the wrong drops.
The
it should be
pain...
some sort of elation. You won the damn game.
Well, but that's the thing. There was elation. I jumped around my house last night. It was... And I'm not the only one. People were jumping around that stadium last night. That was a ridiculous emotion we haven't had a lot of.
I know,
but then the other emotion was Aaron Rodgers literally's Jet career may be over. Like, my brain hurts from confusion. I'm excited. I'm depressed.
It's because you were so emotionally connected to the idea of Aaron Rodgers being your guy. Dispassionately watching this game, my response, and I wrote this to all the people I was chatting with last night, was, wow. That was amazing.
It was.
Wow. It's amazing when specials are special. Special teams are special.
It's special when you're not giving up the punt return for a game-winning touchdown on New England versus we're getting it.
True. But, I mean, the people I was writing, they loved it. And so it was, to me, it felt like a great win and something to build momentum on. And as long as Zach is not the terrible Zach that we saw, this team has a chance. It really does.
We will come right back with your calls and react to all this. It's been a crazy, insane, not just 24 hours, but 9-month journey that somehow went from excitement and Broadway shows and Knick games and Hard Knocks, and it ended 4 plays into his career. But now it's like a new Jet team we're watching. We'll get to your calls coming up, 877-337-6666. He is healthy. He is alive. He was in the building yesterday. My partner for how many years did we work together? 15 years. Joe Beningo will join us at 4 o'clock today. He'll be a weekly spot, 4 o'clock after the Jets play. Obviously, the Jets played last night. He will be with us coming at 4 o'clock to get his reaction, and not only being in that building, but the emotions of watching everything from last night. So we got a lot to do, and I do want to say, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, I can't thank the Yankees enough, because the New York Yankees have a game going on right now, which you can listen to on 660 AM. You have more than a right to go flip over. The Yankees were going to be on FM and AM. They did not have to allow us to split the signal today. They did. And that was a very classy job by them. I think they understand the emotion of sports fans who want to react to the craziness of last night. So I can't thank the New York Yankees enough for, in this game 1 of a doubleheader, splitting the signal, allowing Tiki and I to do this show and talk to you. And if you want to listen to the game, that's great. They're on 660 right now playing the Boston Red Sox. So thank you to Lon Trost, Randy Levine, and the New York Yankees. That was a classy gesture, and it's very much appreciated.